Not in our backyard. That's the message from one community frustrated with the location of a methadone clinic. Small business owners say it's brought their once bustling retail strip to a virtual standstill, and they want it moved.
A lot of their clientele loiter in the area. We've had them sleep in front of my shop waiting for the methadone clinic to open.
Many are coerced into coming towards the clinic by court order, and we see them walking up with their ankle monitors on.
They know, the word is out there. Word is out amongst users that this is the clinic to come to.
To be honest, we find it a bit un-Australian and discriminatory to bash these people when they're so vulnerable.
I know that we do need places like these, but this is not the right location.
It's lunchtime at a suburban shopping strip, and this is the erratic behaviour confronting shopkeepers and customers as they go about their daily business. A woman who appears to be under the influence of drugs marching down the street.
We're getting drug-affected people walking up and down, shouting at no one or anything, and they're intimidating.
It's a regular sight since a methadone clinic opened its doors 2 years ago. This woman sits down on a bench outside a jewellery store before vomiting multiple times, as a person walking past is forced to cover their nose due to the stench. Then this man decides to take his shirt off and towel himself down before sealing the whole ordeal with a kiss.
That's what we see day in and day out, and high traffic of those sort of people.
Tonight, the community protesting over a drug rehabilitation centre.
Save our streets!
Natalia Tomasi has seen it all. She owns the jewellery store less than 50 metres from the clinic.
They're loitering before and after appointments, but what we're finding is the methadone clinic is getting busier and busier and busier.
Including an influx of people wearing ankle bracelets, not quite the ones Natalia sells, but rather ones used by police and courts for electronic monitoring.
That's quite intimidating for our clients, especially our elderly clients.
Natalia says she finds it extremely intimidating, so much so she locks her front door even when open. Even more concerning, she no longer lets her children visit the store after they were followed by one of the regulars of the clinic. This is the moment her 14-year-old daughter realises she's been watched. Terrified as to what could happen next, she grabs her brother and pulls him inside the store and locks the door behind them.
And I have been actually 3 times been stuck with a drug-affected person inside my store with no way out.
One we've had to forcibly remove, put him in a headlock and get him out of the shop.
Locksmith Darren Black has run his business in Beenleigh for almost 3 decades.
We're getting customers who come to the shop, walking back into the shop, asking us to escort them to their cars.
Located only metres from the clinic, Darren has a front row seat to the action.
You see a lot of people coming here, the car drives up, they get out, they've got the security anklet on, they run upstairs, they're back out in 5 minutes and gone. So you can see that they're not getting the counselling.
Even when they turn up here, quite often they seem to be under the influence driving their cars.
This woman runs the accounting firm next door. She also locks her front door because people mistakenly come into her office looking for the clinic.
A lot of the time they're very aggravated and agitated.
And after their treatment, they linger.
They'll come in and sit on the stairs here because often they're not well.
Nat Hammond is another concerned local.
It's not a great look for our town. We want people, the children, to grow up in a town that they're proud of, they're comfortable with.
The problem recently escalated after it appeared some people had decided to set up camp on a nearby veranda. This vision was captured of someone wheeling their suitcase to the bottom of these stairs before being helped up by another person. The camera also captures the moment this squatter returns with a pizza delivery. The owner of this building was so fed up with drug addicts making themselves at home, effectively living on the veranda, he went to the extreme measure of cutting the stairs off.
If you have to make those sort of changes to your premises to stop that from happening, it's just not right.
Recently elected Mayor of Logan City Council, Darren Power.
From what I can tell, it's drawing people from everywhere else to here. Look, the crime activity has been increasingly bad. I mean, the type of crimes that have been committed.
This disturbing vision shows a man in a hoodie brandishing a knife at staff while he tries to steal jewellery. Being hit with a long rod isn't enough to deter him, so the terrified staff throw a stool at the thief, which he throws straight back at them. The ordeal lasts for minutes until finally a staff member puts their own life at risk to ward off the intruder.
How would you feel if that was happening in your neighbourhood? It's very scary.
Locals say the retail area has turned into a thoroughfare for those seeking methadone, but feel not every client is using the drug to break their addiction cycle.
Many are polydrug users, so they're just stacking, they're just adding a cheap drug on top of what they're already using. We're finding needles, and other paraphernalia littered around the place.
The people are coming down here, are getting these supplementary drugs and either selling them or taking them in addition to what they would otherwise be doing. The system is broken.
Former State MP Mike Latter lives in the area and thinks people are taking advantage of the service.
When you have a situation whereby there's an opportunity to reduce your sentence if it means you agree to go down to a clinic, all that says is you're going to the clinic. It doesn't mean you're actually getting any help from it. It doesn't work unless you're prepared to accept it.
They're vulnerable people. It's a health condition with a lot of stigma attached to it.
Lachlan Ford is the pharmacist and director of Bean Lee's Pharmaceutical Rehabilitation Services.
People are making an effort to get help, they're struggling and they're reaching out, and we're just trying to provide a solution.
I have seen with my own eyes how many people benefit from these programs.
Dr Alex Wodak is the president of the Australian Drug Law Reform Foundation. He says it's estimated every dollar spent on addiction treatment programs saves the community between $4 and $7 in crime and social welfare.
We have to juggle them around as best we can so that they fit in the community and we get as much benefit as we can and as little harm done by those facilities. But we need them all.
It's a convenient location, it's near public transport, it's discreet and it suits our clients, and to move would be a huge financial investment as well.
I know of 8 businesses that are going to leave when their leases are up.
I've actually given my termination of lease 3 weeks ago, as I can no longer operate my business under these circumstances.
Save our streets!